We begin with those campus protests happening at colleges in Massachusetts and across the country. Thanks for staying up with us. I'm Glenn Jones.
And I'm Priscilla Casper. Some of the tensest moments today coming from right here in Boston. Sky Rangers showing the moments this afternoon when Boston police officers encircled the encampment at the Centennial Common at Northeastern University. No arrests were made.
The aftermath of that situation at Northeastern is topping our team coverage tonight on this rapidly developing story. NBC 10's Malcolm Johnson is near that encampment with a live update. Malcolm.
Well, Glenn and Priscilla, if you look over my shoulder, you can see all of the students here huddled just behind me. These are a group of Northeastern University students that have been here protesting since earlier this afternoon. It was around 7 o'clock when Berkeley School of Music students came here to join them. And many of these young people tell me they plan to be here overnight. At Northeastern University, tents and signs making up a pro-Palestinian encampment on campus. The demonstration formed Thursday afternoon. So you see all these students here that have initiated this youth group, youth-led encampment. They are looking to raise awareness for what's taking place in Gaza, and they say they are willing to stay here as long as it takes.
We are going to be here until we need to, until they hear our demands and until they meet our demands. Their
demands include Northeastern calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war and divesting from companies with ties to Israel.
So much of research, science, technology, and even education in this country is unfortunately tied to the U.S. war machine, and that means it's tied to Israel.
Who do you protect? Who do you serve?
Earlier in the day, police moving in, surrounding protesters, and asking some to leave. On the outskirts of the encampment, a group of Jewish students feeling the tension.
We feel a lot of discomfort. We don't feel at ease at all. Oh, I don't feel safe walking around my own campus, and I've been going here for 5 years.
And as Berkeley students walked about a mile to join those at Northeastern, Jewish students on campus feeling the university needs to regulate the protest.
They've got a tough situation on their hand because this is clearly not sanctioned and clearly not ideal, but they can't just send the police in there and start arresting students en masse because that would almost be a worse outcome.
And tonight, no reports of any arrests. But one thing new that we have seen here, Priscilla, is Massachusetts State Police join in monitoring this situation. It will continue to develop, and as we get updates, we will provide them here on air. For now, we are live reporting at Northeastern University. I'm Malcolm Johnson, NBC 10 Boston.
All right, Malcolm, thank you. Now, similar protests are playing out at universities across the greater Boston area.
We are keeping a close eye on 3 of them: Tufts University, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Harvard University, and we're starting in Medford with Tufts. This is new video from today. Students have set up tents on the academic quad a few days ago, and we've learned tonight the university's branch of Students for Justice in Palestine is planning a larger protest tomorrow at noon.
An encampment was set up at MIT's campus in Cambridge earlier this week. This is video of the situation there this afternoon.
Harvard University is another campus where students are setting up encampments. Protesters have set up camp right inside Harvard Yard. Those tents are still standing tonight, despite signage indicating tents are not allowed in the yard.
And one student encampment where police had to clear out and there was a clash was near the Emerson campus early this morning. Boston police arrested more than 100 demonstrators. Our NBC 10's Michael Rosenfield continuing our team coverage with a live report from downtown Boston near that college's campus.
And Michael, a lot of eyes on Emerson tonight given the confrontation about 24 hours ago. And I'm told you have new video.
And Glenn, this was a chaotic scene that played out here at Emerson very early this morning, and a lot of students are not happy with how the situation was handled. The crackdown taking place right here in this alleyway around 2 this morning. Police moving in to break up the protests that had been taking place in this alley at Emerson College.
We were all linking arms, saying like ceasefire now, and they moved in, began pulling people off of one another. One of the girls right in front of us who we were trying to hold on to, when they could not successfully grab her by the arm, they went for her collar and ripped her away. Many students were thrown to the ground.
Senior Percy Davis Shaw was among the protesters taken into custody. She was hauled away by police and charged with disorderly conduct. More than 100 Emerson students arrested.
I was pulled away from my fellow activists. I was initially grabbed by the arm, then by the front of my shirt.
We don't want to arrest anybody. We support your right to protest.
Students had been warned that they were breaking city ordinances by setting up an encampment on public property.
I do understand this was a public walkway and there were the ordinances in place. However, just the way of the handling of the students is where I'm upset about it.
Boston police say 4 officers were injured and no students were hurt. But multiple students, including Emerson's student government president, claim several were injured.
We condemn the brutal arrests that occurred yesterday.
Student leaders say they'll be holding a vote of no confidence on Friday against the school's president. They say the police reaction was too violent and the school has not supported the protesters.
I think there definitely could have been a lot more negotiation. I think there could have been a lot more de-escalation tactics used, but there was absolutely no need for the brutalization and for the actions that we saw yesterday.
So classes were canceled today here at Emerson because of what happened this morning, but the school says classes will resume tomorrow, and all 108 students were arrested here. Live at Emerson, Michael Rosenfield, NBC 10 Boston.
Welcome back. Here's another live look from the campus of Northeastern University, where a protest is continuing on this chilly evening. We have a crew there in place through the night to monitor developments. That protest, like the ones across Boston, were sparked in the wake of a similar encampment at Columbia University, which started a week ago.
Columbia University has given pro-Palestinian protesters until tomorrow morning to clear out their camp on the school's lawn, but the protesters say they will not leave until the university complies with their demands to cut ties with Israeli-linked companies.
And near the Columbia University campus in New York City, there was a march organized by a group of pro-Israel counter-protesters.
And from coast to coast, college campuses saw similar protests.
Tracking this nationally developing situation is NBC 10 anchor J.C. Monahan.
We're starting on the West Coast, where an encampment has popped up at UCLA, with protesters calling for the university to divest from companies tied to Israel and an academic boycott of Israeli universities, including study abroad programs. And a day after police arrested more than 90 protesters on the nearby University of Southern California campus, that school has canceled its main stage graduation ceremony as part of new safety measures. At the University of Texas in Austin, hundreds of students gathered for a second day of protests under the university's clock tower. Faculty members issued a statement saying they would not report to work today in response to the arrest of more than 50 people in yesterday's protest. Many of those arrested were released this morning. And near Chicago, a new camp popping up at Northwestern University around 7 this morning. Within 90 minutes, police officers tried to remove the tents, but students linked arms to stop them. The demonstrators said they are prepared to stay in place for days. J.C. Monahan, NBC 10 Boston.
Thank you, J.C. It's a big story. We're all over it. We'll continue monitoring the local university protests overnight. We have more on this developing story online, NBC10boston.com.